Welcome to Let's Read Mobile, presented by the Boys and Girls Club of South Alabama. I'm Carol, and I'd like to read to you a new story. This new story is called A Story of 9/11 Resilience and Regrowth, This Very Tree. So this is a story about a disastrous event that happened on the 11th of September in 2001. And in New York City, the two trade towers were bombed and knocked down. This is about a tree that was in the area where the trade towers were. In New York City, there once stood two towers. For a time, they were the tallest buildings in the world. Below the towers was a busy plaza. And here's the plaza right here. That's where I was planted. I'm the tree. Most people who came to my plaza had a job in the city. Well, I had a job too. My leaves gave people shade, and my branches gave birds a place to rest. And each year, I was one of the first trees to blossom. My flowers let everyone know that spring was coming. Some trees like a quiet park or forest, but I was a city tree. I like the sound of wind rushing between the tall buildings, and I like the smell of rain on concrete in the summer. I like being in my plaza, watching everyone coming and going. I was in my plaza the day it happened. It was an ordinary morning. Everybody sitting around the tree, reading, going to work, until it wasn't. You can see it got dark under the tree, and here are the firemen that had to come. And here's a picture that just shows kind of the chaos that happened when these towers went down. I waited there alone. Around me it was dark and hot and close. Did the sun even exist anymore? And again, lots of pictures of the destruction of the towers. There's the firemen looking into the building. When I came back into the light, I knew that everything had changed. The new noises and smells of the city scared me. They reminded me of what had happened. Some people put me on a truck and drove me to a nursery in a faraway park. I was grateful to be somewhere quiet, but I had changed too. And you can see there are no branches or leaves on the tree anymore. All winter, the people at the nursery took care of me. No one knew if my leaves would come back, but they did. I was peaceful in the park. I was surrounded by other trees. Birds still visited me, and that first spring, a dove made a nest in my branches. I'm sorry about that. Years passed, and I grew. I wondered if my city was regrowing too. You can see the progress. of the tree and the progress of the city. I'm not very good at this. Darn. Sometimes when a shadow passed overhead, I thought about what had happened, but being surrounded by the other trees made me feel stronger. Some days I even felt strong enough to do my old job again. That's when I knew I was ready. It was time to go home. A machine came to pull me from the ground. The noise scared me. Leaving scared me even more. We drove downtown through the city, and now I was worried to go back. What if something bad happened again? I already missed the other trees. Then I saw it. One shining spire and many more towers surrounding a new plaza. And in the plaza, they had planted a forest, and it was filled with trees. Between the trees, they saved 3 empty spaces. 2 spaces remained where the towers once stood, and they would stay empty forever because nothing could fill them now. The 3rd space was for me. I wasn't comfortable at first. It had been so long since I'd heard the wind between the buildings or smelled the wet concrete, but I was still surrounded by other trees, and that made me feel stronger. I had a new job now, too. Anyone who felt a shadow overhead could stand under my leaves and find peace. Anyone who was hurt could see how my branches had healed and find hope. In my plaza, filled with so many trees, I am still the first to blossom. And everyone who sees my flowers knows that spring will come. So that is this fairy tree. Thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget to watch us next time. And until then, let's read, Mobile.